Hello and welcome to another Bloom Room. I am Amy E. Riker. I am so excited to be here with my co-host and raunchy Heather Webb and surprise guest for co-author Hazel Gaynor. Yay!
Yay!
An extra bonus with Barbara Kahn. I'm so excited. Barbara does Journeys by the Book, which we're going to talk more about later. And then, of course, Hazel and Heather are USA Today, New York Times bestselling. I know that's not from Hazel's anyway. They sell a lot of books and write historical fiction, and they're just wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Pam. And we forgot to warn Hazel and Barbara, though. I think you probably already know we like to post comments when people do comments.
Yes, at the bottom. And feel free to respond, whatever you like.
Yes.
So I have to start before Poppy News, actually. I just wanted to say that I promised the Blooms that there would be a special giveaway tonight. And there is. I'm giving away 3 copies to commenters. So 3 different winners. And I also have a $20 gift card to bookshop.org. So you guys can comment up. What's that?
Can I comment?
I'm commenting right now.
So leave a comment and thank you for coming tonight. And we will be giving away books. Books.
And
So should we start with Poppy News?
It's a fabulous book and everyone should read it.
Yes, you should.
Yay!
And we'll talk all about that later. So, Poppy News. Ba-ba-da.
Yes. Okay, Poppy News. So we have a few little things. We have Jessica Strauzer's book, A Million Reasons Why, which is an excellent book, you guys. I love Jessica's books. It's $2.99 just for this week in ebook, so grab it while you can. Yep. And then Denny Bryce and Sadiqa Johnson were both listed as 2 of the most popular books of Goodreads so far of 2021, which is amazing. So go there.
Wow.
And then our release is today. Poppy release. So that's it. That's the news. Woo!
We are the news.
We are the news. Yes.
So I got a little silly with Happy Launch Sign. So I finished this late last night and it was excellent. And I won't tell you the side story because it pertains to the ending. But just know you will be reading at the edge of your seat.
We'd love to hear that.
Tissues. You need tissues. I needed tissues.
Oh, you needed clay. Oh, that's nice to hear.
There were a few places I needed tissues. Yes.
Good.
Job done, Heather. We made people cry. We made people anxious. I think we've ticked all of the boxes.
You did. I laughed.
Yeah, good. Yeah, there's a few laughs in there.
Since we're already on the topic, should we just talk a little bit about it?
That would make
All right. Let's give it the pitch. Miss Gaynor, would you like to lead or would you like for me to? It is 1 a.m.
Wow,
in
look
Ireland,
at that.
guys.
Yes.
You lead this one. I'll chip in.
Okay, sounds good. So our book is about 2 feuding sisters who are sent on a journey on behalf of their dying grandmother, who would like to deliver 3 letters to various people in Europe that she has sort of open-ended situations with, I suppose you could say. She wants to say goodbye properly, and in 3 different countries. So our girls set out in the footsteps as well of their grandmother from 40 years before, and the famed reporter Nellie Bly, who was an inspiration for both Grandma and one of our characters, Maddie. So off they go, and they don't get along. So there's lots of shenanigans, but there's lots of humor, and there's a dash of love. There's some of the most famous travel means of travel in the world, then and now, still, really, right?
Yeah.
Queen
Absolutely.
Mary and the Orient Express, and then dun dun dun, the Hindenburg on the way home.
So that one's not around anymore.
That's not around anymore, and that's all we're
No.
going to say about that.
Thank goodness.
Spoilers. So we
Hazel
kind of
is-
we went to town, didn't we? We thought, okay, we can't go anywhere. Let's throw everything into this book, and found these amazing epic forms of transport, and just literally threw it all in there. So I think it was us trying to travel on the page when we couldn't travel anywhere, and it was brilliant fun actually to write that sort of novel, where the characters are moving constantly, rather than being stuck and set in one place. So yeah, we kind of indulged our wanderlust, didn't we, Ms. Webb?
We sure did. I mean, stuck at home, and we love to travel together and separately and with our families, and we haven't been able to do anything. So we hope we take you on a journey with the book, just like our girls. So
yeah.
And so a behind the scenes little anecdote. Do we have some interesting little tidbit that we can share, Hazel?
Well, I think our behind the scenes anecdote is writing a book during a pandemic. What more of an anecdote could we possibly have? I mean, we get asked a lot, don't we? How do you write books together when I'm here in Ireland and you're on the east coast of the States? And then you throw in, our children are actually having school beside me, and the world is in turmoil. So yeah, it was frantic, to say the least, at times, but hairy. We had great chats and kind of cheered each other along, didn't we? And somehow kept on track. So we're just excited that we've managed to come out the other side, and we're here today with our characters in the book, and that people are going to read it. So yeah, it was an interesting time, let's say.
Yeah, I think another thing too is that we didn't know that much about Nellie Bly, so it was really exciting uncovering the amazing things that woman did. You should, if you guys, I posted a little bit about her today in Bloom, but look her up. She was an incredible woman. So it was really fun fashioning a character inspired by her in the book. And then when this cover showed up, Hazel and I immediately pinged each other and squealed because we loved it so much, because they look just like the sisters. I mean,
that is me and you, isn't it? We should probably tell people that's me and you dressed up.
Yes, absolutely. So
the cover is perfect. It's like exactly the right era, the fashion, everything.
They nailed it. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I mean, that cape, look at that cape. She's just rocking that. It's just perfect. And even the attitude of the two of them, I think once people have met Clara and Maddie, the two sisters, that image is just, it's so perfect for them. So yeah, we were like, oh, that's amazing. And it's quite different as well. It's quite a different style of cover. It's quite brave, I think. Yeah.
It is. Like, I mean, they're facing forward for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here you have a historical book with people facing the front.
I know. It's crazy.
So groundbreaking.
We are groundbreaking.
So we did get a question about collaborating. So how we collaborated on this, Hazel. I'll start and then you jump in. So we use Google Docs. That's a live document that we can both use right on at the same time. Every time Hazel leaves a comment, it goes to my email. So I can track everything that she's saying there. And, we highlight things as we edit. We collaborate very closely. So we each write a character, but then we edit everything together. And
Heather's telling you absolute lies. We just have outrageous arguments. We shout at each other. We disagree.
Everybody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear
They
that.
They don't want to hear that it's all peaceful and loving. They want the drama.
I don't understand how you can function in Google Docs and write an entire book and not go completely insane.
No, we do go insane.
We don't like it. And in fact, if you write an entire novel on it, it slows down and gets so we've learned to put it in chunks, like part 1, part 2, part 3. And even by the end of part 1, it's like it does one of these. There's just big lag time.
It gets clunky, doesn't it? And we have had an incident in the past, which I think I have owned up to being to blame, where we basically lost most of our document. So, you know, it's
no.
interesting. But we've managed to get around it. Yeah. But it's great because you have that kind of live collaborative element to Google Docs. So, and especially with our time difference. So when I get up 5 hours ahead of Heather, although mostly she's not far behind, and I'm working, and then, you know, she can see where I've been or if I'm actually still in the docs. It feels like a really sort of organic live document, which makes sense when there's two of you sort of dipping in and out of it all the time.
Yeah.
So it does work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
I think
Barbara,
people always want us to sort of say how difficult it is, and I always feel like we make it sound far too easy, and it really isn't. But I think because we get along so well, of course there are bumps with any manuscript anyway, but you know, it does come with its challenges. You can't just go, well, I want this to happen, you know, and ignore somebody else's point of view. But it's like, I suppose, when you have your editorial input and you have to take on board someone else's opinion, and they can see things differently. So we genuinely do not argue about things, which is quite extraordinary, I think, and really boring.
Yeah, I think we trust each other. You know, if Hazel's feeling really strongly about something, I'm not going to be like, well, too bad, it's going to go like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it works really well. But, and we asked Barbara to join us because she was one of our very early book bloggers with our first collaboration, Last Christmas in Paris, and was so lovely and posted everywhere, and actually ended up using miles, I think, Barbara, to fly up to Connecticut and see our launch event.
I did. Well, it was, you know, it was a no-brainer because first it was you guys, and then I think every time I turned around, they added another historical fiction writer. So I was like, first I was like, okay, I'll go for these two, and then I was like, you know, and then they added, you know, all like Pam Jenoff and, you know, all these people, and I was like, all right, this is happening. I'm going.
And we had a lovely dinner together, and it was
a great event.
Yeah, it was really fun. I hope to do that again. I'm hoping for in-person stuff to start soon for you guys, because I know it's, you know, it's really important to get out there and meet, you know, I know I love to meet authors, so I think people are probably ready to get back to meeting authors. And, you know, I know it's a lot of work for you guys because you have to go out and about and do all of that, but we love it. We do love it. So,
yeah.
Well, definitely. And speaking of travel, I mean, you read this book as a traveler yourself and a travel agent.
Exactly. I loved it. You know, I really identified with Maddie because she is just, you know, going and doing whatever. She's not worrying, like, you know, let's try this, let's go here. And that's kind of the way I do stuff when I'm traveling. You know, I have stuff planned, but I still kind of like, you know, oh, let's go down this road. This looks interesting. Let's see what's down around the corner. And, you know, you just have to leave, you know, an element of surprise. And, you know, I think I don't get anxious when I'm traveling. I just relax and, you know, go with the flow. And I think that's, you know, the best way to experience it. Because if you get like, you know, like Clara was always nervous, you know, you miss out on things because you don't want to get up into the, you know, don't get in the balloon and go for the hot air balloon ride. And
she's infuriating, isn't she? She's so cautious. She really like, just do it.
And we're talking about one of the sisters. So they're Madeline and Clara was a little bit cautious.
Right.
Brilliant and artistic and beautiful, but quite cautious.
Yes.
Yeah. We all need a Maddie to travel with.
Right.
We do. Yeah. And it was kind of fun to write that conflict between them, you know, where you have, particularly when you're in a situation like you say, Barbara, when you're traveling, you've kind of got to go with the flow to a degree. And if you have somebody constantly checking a schedule and itinerary, it doesn't say we're doing this now, you know, that's kind of, you've got to have plans that fall apart because that's part of the fun. So it was really, it was really great to have that constant backwards and forwards between them both. which allowed us both as writers to play around a bit with characters as well.
Yeah, it was very believable. I mean, certainly the characters read very natural. So I think that, those we could identify with people in our own lives who are the nervous travelers and, the Maddies of the world who are just like,
getting
let's
into
just try this thing.
I'm going to the bad, dark places of this town. See what's going on.
So, Barbara, not only are you a travel agent, but you have a literary bent to your travel. So can you tell us a little bit about your agency?
Yeah. So I've been a travel advisor for next year, it'll be 30 years. And I've done a little bit of everything. Most of what I really love to do is put together what we call foreign independent trips, which is, not like the package tour. So we create the package, we find the hotels, we find all of the little components, and we put it all together. So it's like a big puzzle that we put together, and we have amazing contacts all over the world. And so I've been doing that for a really long time. And then once I started reading and reviewing books, which I guess was probably in I think around 2011, 2012, I really started getting serious with reading and reviewing. I started thinking, when I was reading, I felt like these are the places that I want to go, especially like historical fiction translates really well because you're going to this place back in time, and a lot of times those places are still there. And I find myself, as I'm reading historical fiction, looking up the places to see, is this a real thing or did they make this up? And so I started thinking that, maybe I could have a little niche of literary travel, and we could do it in a way that would be, there's so many different ways to go. And we could do literary trips, which I have one coming up in spring it's Jane Austen and Thomas Hardy, and, going to England, going to all those places,
that sounds
Jane's
amazing.
home, Chewton Glen, and all of that. But then there's also, another way to do it. You can go and see the places. So I've been kind of putting together some historical fiction trips. I came across a tour that was actually being offered in Normandy after I read The Baker's Secret, and and also All the Light We Cannot See. Those two books. There is actually a tour that you can do now of Saint Malo, and I thought, this could be a thing. We could really expand on this. And I thought people like me who love to read, who love settings, and a lot of times I'll pick a book because of the setting. I feel like it would be something that people would want to do and go and see the places that are in the book or that are of historical significance in that historical fiction book. So you're learning, obviously, the history, and then you're also going back to where the book that you really enjoyed took place. And the idea would be to have some of the authors possibly kind of come along as, I don't want to call them guides, but kind of like a host, and kind of tell us the background of, the places and things like that. So lots of possibilities, long weekend type of trips to, places in the US, and longer trips. I have an idea for one right now on Italy, because Italy's been really popular for World War II historical fiction lately. And so I just feel like there's a lot of fun stuff. I love Italy. Who doesn't love Italy? So, go. We can have great food and wine, and we can have beautiful scenery, and we can visit great scenes. So, yeah, it
sounds fabulous.
It's
exciting. Such a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, when you're ready to have that blockbuster trip to Wisconsin, I'll help you out.
Okay, we will have our line included.
That's right.
You'll have to come to Ireland, Barbara. There's so many literary connections, and I mean, there's so much happening here.
I'm going to definitely do that, and I would love for you to come along if you're interested. Maybe
Absolutely.
We can do The Girl That Came Home as a
starting point. Yeah, we could go up to Belfast, and
we need to use this as an Irish segue. This is definitely an Irish segue, Hazel. We need to talk about a very special Irish thing tonight.
That was a slight little Irish segue, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So
what happened tonight, Heather?
So what happened tonight is Hazel, who is a Yorkshire lass, from what I understand, by birth.
Yes. Yes.
So English.
Yes.
Has lived in Ireland for 21. Ooh, I got it. 21 years. Her
So
husband's
good.
Irish. Her children are half English, half Irish. And in the last year and a half or so, you were filing lots of paperwork to become an Irish citizen. And tonight was...
Oh, it was Island Day.
So she's Irish.
Oh, look, she is Irish.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, it was just amazing. I got the paperwork maybe about 2 months ago, and usually there'd be a huge ceremony, obviously in person, but we can't do that. So they had an event on Zoom, and there was nearly 1,000 new Irish citizens on the Zoom event, and they had gorgeous harpists, and they had people telling their stories of what it meant to them to have settled in Ireland and now be a citizen. And oh my goodness, it was so emotional and very moving. And I'm just, it just feels like it was meant to be. And yeah, I'm just really proud now to be a hybrid Yorkshire Irish lass.
And apparently, according to Marissa, you're a beautiful leprechaun as well.
Oh, well, I did write a book about fairies, so maybe this was all written in the stars somewhere.
And Hazel, you have your proper green gear on to celebrate.
I have my green dress to celebrate. I have my flag. I have my Guinness.
And that, I think that needs to be Oh wait, is this something that we know here? I.e.
That's Ireland. Ireland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, is this some Celtic that I should know?
No, secret code for the fairies.
Maybe like I or something.
That's so funny. Well,
yeah, Ireland. So thank you. Yeah, no, it was a really lovely evening. So, and it was perfect that it blended into our event tonight. So it's been a really great day. Yeah, it's been a really special day.
Oh, yay. So fun. Yeah. So are you still an English, dual citizen at this point?
Yeah. So I get to do both. Yeah, which is great. So
I'm envious of all the dual citizens out in the world.
Me too, Amy. I want to be a dual citizen. I can't, but I have aspirations.
Me too.
I would like to as well, but I'm not sure what country. There's a few I would like.
Well, there's a whole thing, there's a lot of Caribbean places where if you commit to buying a certain amount of property, you can get citizenship there. Yep. So there were a bunch of really rich Americans doing that during the pandemic so they could still travel. So
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not cool.
Well, I think Heather and I could maybe be honorary Monegasque citizens, and I think some huge tax enclave, isn't it? So that would be a nice place to become a resident.
Yeah.
I would not complain about that.
Let's go live in Monaco.
Live in the border in France and then go over there, so you can live cheaper in France, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there's crazy rules though, I think, to live in Monaco. Don't you have to literally be invited by the prince? Like you have to. Really? Yeah, you can't just decide. I think he obviously looks at your bank account and sees if you fit the bill. There's quite precise rules. They don't just let anyone in. So I'm not quite sure how me and Heather got there when we were researching our last book. But anyway.
Secret train.
Yeah, we hopped over the border.
Oh, that's funny. All right, should we talk book recommendations?
We should.
Awesome. All right, Barbara, what are you reading?
I just finished a book which I found to be really interesting. It was historical fiction. It was called The Bohemians by Jasmine Garsnick.
Yeah.
Really good. I think I picked it up, didn't know who it was about, and it's about Dorothea Lange or Lange. I'm not sure. Now I forget how the pronunciation is, but she's she has that famous picture of that woman from the Dust Bowl. And I don't know, I've always been obsessed with that picture because it is just so, if you think about when she took that picture, it's just so crisp and everything that you can see. So she really had an eye for taking photographs. And so it was basically following her arrival in San Francisco and basically her rise to becoming a documentary photographer. And it was really interesting because it takes place right after the earthquake in 1906 in San Francisco, and then continues on through the financial crash. And so really very, very interesting.
Wow, sounds like one to look up.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
We're kind of quiet today. Nikki, what are you reading, honey?
So this is a book, and it's very boring to look at because it's one of these bound copies that they send people early on to blurb. So I'm going to be blurbing this for Amanda Elliott, and I just started it. It's called Sadie on a Plate, and it is about a Seattle chef who just broke up with her boss. So that's complicated enough. Thought her career was over and ended up getting onto this cooking show that she's a huge fan of. On the way to the cooking show, she sits next to this very handsome man, and they have a lot of chemistry, and they have this wonderful dinner where they land at their destination. And she's like, oh, I can't see you for X number of weeks. I've got something going on. And lo and behold, she shows up on the set of the cooking show, and there's this guy she had this amazing connection with. And of course, things are going to get complicated. So that is Sadie on a Plate. It sounds like a delightful rom-com, just like I love to read. So that is what I'm reading.
Well, and I always bring this tiny little screen to show you guys what I'm reading.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read it yet.
The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. I just finished it a few days ago, and I loved it. It's a very charming read. It's 4 women who are competing for a radio guest spot. Mm-hmm. On the BBC, and the spot is to talk about how you can properly use your rations at the time during World War II, with fun recipes that you wouldn't think to do, and of course, naturally, all 4 POVs are running for this spot, and they are antagonists, but the paths cross, and it was really clever and very, very a sweet book. I enjoyed it a lot. So. And great.
I've just read that too. We were talking about this last night. I loved it. I love Jennifer's other books, so I knew I was going to like it. And I have a foodie one as well, which I was typing because I thought I've forgotten to bring my book down to show everyone. So this is, where am I? Okay. Ooh. Miss Eliza's English Kitchen by Annabelle Abbs. Isn't that cover gorgeous?
It's gorgeous.
Just absolutely love it. It's got a very Downton Abbey.
His recommendation.
That is perfect, Downton Abbey. You're right.
Yeah, and it's coming out, I think, in February. It's Annabelle Abbs. I think it's already been optioned for a PBS series. It's fascinating. It's about Eliza Acton, who was a Victorian cookery writer and essentially wrote the first recipe book in the form that we would recognize a recipe book now, that sort of has the ingredients and the methodology and tells you how to put those things together. And it's about her and her assistant. So it's this incredible story of powerful female connection and that sort of upstairs downstairs life that we all love in Downton Abbey, and I just absolutely loved it. I think it's going to be huge when it comes out next year. So, and it's fabulous because they make like jellied eels and all those disgusting things that people used to eat. So there's some fairly gruesome things in there as well. But I loved it.
What's the title again?
It's Miss Eliza's English Kitchen. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can vibe.
Someone else said, Pam says it's Miss Eliza's Kitty Gross.
Okay.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. So it's just fascinating. Again, it's one of those people from history that you kind of have heard of maybe, but don't really know the background to the story. And it's just for a foodie, if you're interested in cooking or sort of the history of food at all, you'll love it. So Heather, it's definitely one for you. Yeah. And I have to have a shout out. I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to have one book, but I'm going to be put in prison because I don't have a copy in front of me, and she's my dearest friend, Catherine Ryan Howard, who has an amazing thriller coming out called 56 Days, and it's coming in the States in mid-August, I think. and it's a lockdown thriller set in Dublin, and it's getting rave reviews. She had a huge review in the Washington Post today, I think, or
Did she?
tomorrow it's coming in print.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so Catherine Ryan Howard, 56 Days. I don't usually read thrillers because I'm a little bit, I don't really like them. But it's
Here.
fabulous. And that's it. There you go. And I couldn't put it down.
I will
Yeah.
definitely read that. I love
Yeah.
thrillers. Thrillers
Yeah.
is besides historical fiction, I love thrillers.
Yeah,
So.
it's fantastic. You literally can't stop reading it. So that's my
it's-
other recommendation.
Yay.
Very good. Well, we're at time, aren't we, Amy? That went really fast, you guys.
Always does. I just want to go travel between this book and Barbara being here. I just want to go places.
The world is opening. You can travel now. If you just follow the protocols. That's why your travel advisor is there to help you out, to figure out all of, navigate all of the restrictions and regulations and what do you need and what tests what do you need to get tested for and all of that. So there's definitely ways to travel now safely. So hopefully we'll continue on that path. I know it seems like it's been a bumpy road for sure. And hopefully very soon we'll be able to just go.
I thank you for saying that, because that's the message we all need to hear.
We all need a Barbara to travel with us. We all need to have a Barbara to help us now.
We do.
I'm here. I'm willing and able. I will be the Maddie. We'll go to our galley.
You do have Barbara's link. I saw Lexi posted it in the comments. So the link to her website, Journeys by the Book, is available, and we will be putting links to 3 Words for Goodbye. I had to look at the title real quick because I almost blanked. And that'll be in there too. But you should all have already ordered your copy. What are you waiting for? Fantastic.
Well, and don't forget the giveaway, you guys. We'll put that at the top when the video is posted. We'll put that at the top, and I'll pick a winner tomorrow. Yay! So thank you guys.
Thank you.
We should do a transatlantic cruise and then go on the Orient Express. Let's just do it. Let's just say it today. We're doing it.
I'm following their footsteps.
Yeah,
that'd be great. And it'll be like what, a 2-3 month trip? That's how that goes, right?
At least.
I will get my travel trunks ready.
That's what I was going to say. Bring our trunks and we'll be fine.
See you later.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for coming. This was a fantastic Bloom Room.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been so
Hazel,
much
go
fun.
to bed.
Go to bed, Hazel.
Yes, Mom.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Take care.